This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
This episode is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal offers a home buyer's choice loan that can open the door to affordable home ownership. Because the home buyer's choice loan has no down payment options available, which means you don't have to wait years to save. Plus, you may be able to lower your rate in the future without refinancing with their no refi rate drop. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Loans subject to approval and eligibility requirements. Learn more at NavyFederal.org.
Wasabi Technologies is purpose-built to free businesses from skyrocketing storage costs and unpredictable egress fees from those old and top-heavy legacy providers. You know, the big guys. Wasabi is the go-to provider for professional and collegiate sports teams around the world. From Wasabi's AI-enabled intelligent media storage, Wasabi Air, to the industry's only cloud storage service with triple protection against cyber criminals, Wasabi is driving innovation in data storage, all for up to 80% less than those other guys. Try them out for free at wasabi.com.
Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Gaardsy, we were talking about birthdays earlier. Happy birthday to you today.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to Kath, who I may well be seeing later tonight as well. Hope she's having a very, very good day. You have big plans for tonight?
My kids do. I have not been made privy to them.
Is it all kind of a surprise? Like they build it?
Seems like it, yeah. And they've done a pretty good job of not spoiling it, whatever it is.
That's nice.
So they're committed.
Good.
They're committed to the bit.
Are you the type of individual, though, who it's so important for you to know that they're not putting anything over on you, that you, like, probe?
No.
So that then you can say to them, Daddy knew exactly what you were going to do.
No.
Oh, that's good. That's encouraging.
They have enough trouble keeping a secret. I don't think I need to encourage it. My wife, in consecutive milestone birthdays, 30 and 40, this is embarrassing for me, has pulled off surprise parties. You were at
that's
one
right.
of them,
I remember
40th.
that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it still bothers me how naive I was to the whole thing. Because there were so many signs, but I'm just too trustworthy.
That's what it is.
I'm too trustworthy, and I'm too, I don't know what it is.
Too unassuming.
Yeah, I should ask more questions.
Like, well, no, I didn't even think you were going to do anything. I didn't even know if you realized it was my birthday.
Just hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
30 and 40. 50, I got to up my game a little bit.
Remarkable.
It's sad.
You just said hook, line, and sinker, right?
Yes.
You know what that just triggered in me? Howard Sinker sent me an email months ago that I forgot to respond to.
About talking to his class?
I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but I didn't respond, and now I have to find. I hope I don't delete any of my emails, which is why on Yahoo I'm up to like 4 million.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
So now that reminds me, I can do a search on his name and try to actually acknowledge him, because it was haunting me. I don't want him to think all this time I've been ignoring it. Anyway,
looks like right now I have 53,420 unread emails.
53,000?
Yeah, between
Yahoo,
JG at KFAN.com as well as my Gmail account. It's not good. It's terrible.
I hate to say it. That's Summer League ball. I have 337,960 unread emails. So come back to me when you get into the hundreds. Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah, it does.
That tracks. Well, I'll give you a minute here as I outline the story. Why don't you look for Sinker's email right now? Just type it in,
that's a good idea.
Sinker, because I'll give you some cover here, because I think this story is worth mentioning. It's probably worth spending more time on than just the top 5 at 5. But our guy, former NFL quarterback and Pro Bowl quarterback here, Ted Bridgewater, has been suspended from his position as high school football coach in Miami for allegedly providing impermissible benefits to his players. He confirmed, did Bridgewater, his suspension in a Facebook post Sunday, but says he remains committed to his alma mater. Says the suspension came from MNW, Miami Northwestern.
Yeah.
It's impossible to suspend someone who doesn't work for you, because I think he just volunteers. So if I'm suspended, I'm free to go to any school of my choice, but I'm not going anywhere. So what did he do, Ted Bridgewater? Well, the impermissible benefits, He paid for Uber rides, meals, and recovery services for his players. He also asked fans to donate to help cover such expenses. Basically, made sure that his kids could get rides to and from practice, to and from games.
Yes.
That's why I teased it with, should he be in trouble for this? Technically, he's breaking a rule, I guess.
Well, I think, again, you could say heart of gold. He's not, but yeah, I don't even know what counts anymore. It seems like we're a couple years away from high school players getting paid, aren't we? That's got to be right around the corner.
Yep.
But, if he's doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, the school doesn't have much choice if it's brought to their attention, right? Or if it's brought to attention of the high school league, that you're kind of forcing them to do. It's difficult for them to do nothing. I would think it's like.
And other schools have gotten in trouble for this type of thing the last few years as well. Besides just Ted Bridgewater,
I don't know if I've got all his comments in context, but it feels like he's being too cavalier about it. Like, oh well, I'm not even. How are you suspending me? I'm not even. Well, if you're doing stuff that's against the rules, it's a distinction without a difference. It means they have to find some way to convince you to not continue to do what you're doing, right? I don't. It doesn't seem to me he's taking a very adult approach about it.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We will see what happens. Twins lose yesterday 2-1. They won another series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They wrap up the pre-All-Star game portion of the season, 47-49. Could not get much going offensively yesterday. And then the ball got stuck in Brooks Lee's glove. Did you see that?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I heard about it.
They basically could have gotten out of the inning where Pittsburgh ends up scoring the game-winning run, but Lee could not get the ball out of his glove to turn 2. And so Pittsburgh gets out of town with 1 victory. Byron Buxton, was it on Saturday night, had the cycle, another electric night for him. Then he gave away a cycle yesterday, a bike, pregame.
Get it?
Because it's a cycle. He gave it away. Nelly,
think of all the marketing moves by the Twins this weekend. Nelly filled the place, 40,000 people.
Just nuts.
And then Saturday was the bobblehead day.
Yep, and the cycle.
In which if they hadn't had bobblehead day, I think they were going to have like 10,000 people. And then Sunday, I don't know what they had. And as you say, you do the cycle on your bobblehead day, and you save the home run for last, right? That's what you needed, a home run in the 7th inning to get the cycle. We may talk some Buxton later in this show. I know we'll talk some Buxton with Lehman when he joins in studio on Wednesday. He's in action tonight, right? Who's the odds-on favorite at the? There's favorites in everything. The home run derby.
Yeah, and let me pull it up quickly. I'll try to pull it up quickly. MLB home run derby odds. DraftKings. I like DraftKings. I'm sure they have it. Because this is in Atlanta,
where he has a home
state of Byron Buxton. It looks like Cal Raleigh, your guy Cal Raleigh, is the odds-on favorite. O'Neal Cruz at plus 350. Buck, a good value bet at plus 850.
That's not bad at all.
So I've heard of like 3 of these players. Shows you I'm just not a ball guy.
Can he get extra home runs by hitting inside the park home runs?
That should count, right?
My opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
Ball goes to the wall and hit it. Because there's people out there catching flies, but if they don't catch it, why can't he just run around the bases? Although that might get tiresome, and then he'll pull something, and then he won't be available for the rest of the season.
That wouldn't be good.
No.
Lynx are right back in action tonight. We talked about it earlier in the show. They lose to the Chicago Sky on Saturday.
That's 12 games in 23 days. That is a lot of basketball.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because it was 11 and 22. Yeah, with the game against Chicago. So that's, if I'm doing my math, or maybe it's 12 and 24 because that was Saturday. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's 12 and 24. That's a lot of hoops.
And they're right back at it in Chicago tonight, a 7 o'clock start.
Rematch?
Yeah.
Oh, so doing the back-to-backer thing.
Yes, before they've got Phoenix on Wednesday.
Okay.
So they are right back at it, and hopefully somebody boxes out Angel Reese.
Clark and Becker's head-to-head, I think it was in Indy or Dallas? I don't remember where it was. And Becker's had great numbers, but they lost. And Clark is not shooting that well, but had a really good floor game. I think she had 13 assists.
She did.
Hit a couple of threes. Had 5 steals. She's becoming a defensive demon all of a sudden. And her offense has come back rather slow in terms of her shooting. But her overall game, good. They exchanged a lot of good salutations. I'm telling you, I still think Beckers has a chance to be really, really good. I think she was like 10 for 15 from the floor in this game.
9 of 15.
9 and 15.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly. So
you think about those two, they were obviously same class in high school.
Yeah, but
we forget that because Paige had all the injuries. And that was the other thing. Gino got a lot of heat when Caitlin Clark was coming through the last couple of years.
Yes.
I remember part of the story was, like everybody, it was Caitlin Clark's dream to go to UConn. And she basically said, well, Gino didn't really recruit me. And everyone was like, unbelievable, Gino. How I got a kid from Iowa, not important. It's like, well, Clark was ranked 3rd in the country that year in high school, 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
Paige Beckers was ranked 1.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he had to make a choice. I'm sure he would have been happy with either.
Yeah, right.
But when you recruit Paige Beckers, Beckers was more highly touted.
Clark would not have been Clark at UConn for the obvious reason.
I agree with that.
They didn't. That program is not that dependent on any one player.
It's not.
Right? Doesn't mean she wouldn't have excelled and had a chance to be really good.
Should have been the next great one.
Basically true, but that's going to be. We talked about this months ago, and it's got to build. But I think this is going to end up being a really good matchup to follow. But the two of them moving forward.
And they've been probably playing against each other since they were like 12. When you think about it, realistically, at AAU and Iowa, Minnesota, the whole bit. BigDeck.com wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is our national cash contest. Final keyword of the evening is check. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword check.
We've got some lickspittle analytics to get to in the final, hour and 15 minutes of the program. We've got a couple of other stories to revisit as well, and maybe a little bit more on Byron Buxton. Don't go away.
Nate Bargatze is bringing 2 nights of laughs to XL Energy Center, or do we call it Grand Casino Arena? I'm not sure. Don't miss out on the hilarity when he takes the stage Saturday, July 26th and Sunday, July 27th with the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Limited tickets still available. Get all the details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Yeah, I'm the heel. Found the Howard Sinker email. At least I didn't imagine it.
Yeah.
Have we ever had a Rain-mageddon before? Hope you're doing well. You want to guess the date?
Last summer.
Well, come on. That's not very nice. April 28th of this year. It's bad enough. So I just responded. I said I'm embarrassed. It only took me 3 months. Doing well. And we have had a couple Rain-mageddons, I think. We due for any big rains?
Yeah, rain tomorrow is expected. Tomorrow? I was watching Ian Leonard last night. He was talking about the rain coming through.
Howard Sinker, good guy. I always like
really good guy.
Catching up with him one way or another. And
I don't know if I've ever met him. Yeah. But it's one of those things where you talk like on social media or you email each other. I don't know if I've ever met him and like spent any time with him, but he seems like a great dude.
He definitely is.
I liked his old baseball blog on StarTribune.com.
It was outstanding.
It was always really good.
We quoted from it a lot, if you recall. So, where was I? Oh, it's a trite question to ask. It's a little obvious, but I'll go ahead and do it. And as I said, we'll probably revisit it later in the week as well. So you have at the moment, let me introduce this way. Let me give you Byron Buxton's stats at the All-Star break, correct? He has played in 78 games. So how many have we played?
Well, we're 47 and 49.
Oh, here we go.
So almost 100.
But a wimpy way out of it. So he's played in 78 of those. 298 at-bats, 86 hits, 14 doubles, 4 triples, 21 home runs, 56 runs batted in, 27 bases on balls. He struck out 87 times. He's got 17 stolen bases. His batting average is .289. His on-base percentage is .351. He's slugging at .574, which is the second best of his, well, no, I guess he was .577 back in 2020, .647 in only 61 games in 2021. OPS is .795. His WAR, if you care about that stat, is very good. It's 4.1.
That's good.
You know what the cliche is at a time like this? Got to trade him. He'll never have higher value. He's been healthier than he's been in years. He's been really the 5-tool, we kidded back in the day, 6 tools,
right,
player that he was envisioned.
Been incredible.
As being all along, right? Exciting, committed to the bit, effective, everything. By the way, he is checking age. He will be 32 years old next December. So the obvious question is, well, let's not kid ourselves. This can't hold up. But if you got other teams out there that are utterly fascinated with what he represents, and they've got the deeper pocketbook so they can even live with the fact that maybe we'll live with 120 games a year from him if it comes to that, being conservative.
And his contract, if you recall, is not...
It's like $50 million plus the next couple of 3 years.
Yeah. Wasn't it like
same.
15 a year or something like that?
Well, no, it's much higher than that now, I think. We'll double check. I think it's much higher than that. Let's see.
I can pull it up.
Pull out the numbers. Regardless, the cliche is, well, it was a weird contract. You're right. Wasn't there like a lot of bonus money? How is it set up? Maybe I'm thinking of the overall value of the deal. Just whenever you find it, go ahead and
his annual salary is $15 million a year.
Okay, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking.
7 years, $100 million.
Yeah. So it stays the next few years. I don't think it goes up considerably. Does it? It's the same
through 2028. Okay. Now he does have like plate appearance incentives, which would obviously be games played, right? Essentially. 500,000
correct
for 502 plate appearances, another 500 for 533. Yeah. So it incentivizes him to get to that deal.
That's what it was. By the way, let me correct myself. His career OPS is 795. I looked at the wrong column. His OPS this year is 925.
Wow.
A whopping 925. So, you can make, first of all, I have no idea. If they somehow made him available, I have no idea if there is even a single team that would break the bank for Buxton. I don't know how he's viewed, given his age and that circumstance. And again, I think teams with deeper pockets can live with, they can always paper over if it doesn't work out. But, so what can you get? The assumption is you'd get like 2 or 3 of the best you'd want to get 2 or 3 of the best prospects, right? And you'd want to get at least one player every day, one major leaguer, I would think you would have to. Is there a price where you go, yeah, this is so obscene, we would do it? Because as much as I kidded earlier in the year about, when he was a little hotter, he was hot then, and I said, hey, trade him now, trade everybody. And I may regret saying it. I don't think with a straight face you could sell that.
You can't.
Whether you're old owners or the new owners. I think you have to accept there's still a gamble in believing that he's figured something out or his body has reached a point where whatever bad luck he has had, he's in a better place. And there's a good chance now he's going to stay in that place for let's just say the next 2 or 3 years. I think you have to run the risk that that's not going to be true, that he may revert next year, but I don't think you can take that chance, and especially because of the price. The price is just not that ridiculous.
No.
It just isn't, right? Based on the way you lay it out, that it doesn't even really go up considerably the next couple years. So to me, as much as we kid about that, even if I'm aware that there is a gamble in projecting that he can stay as healthy as he has, relatively speaking, stayed this year, you got to play it out now. And you got to hope that maybe it's going to even, the baseball gods have said, we're going to even it out for Buck a little bit. And so for, let's say, this year, and let's say 2026, and maybe even, dare we say it, 2027, he's going to play more games than he's played in years. And I don't know if he can be this productive, but he's going to be close to this productive. You can't. I just don't think you can mess with that.
Not even close. I don't even answer the phone.
Right.
I don't even tempt the possibility that you might get a deal that you feel like you have to take. Right. I have no interest in it. You can't. They'd have to shut the whole thing down. Then everybody would have to go. The manager would have to go. Falvey would have to go. Everybody would have to go. If that happened, there would be so much negativity and bad will.
Yeah, I just think that's very true. And look, people are already, reminding us that he's got a full no trade clause. We're aware of that. We're trying to have a philosophical conversation
because maybe he wants to win.
Well, that would be the question.
Yeah.
I don't think he has shown any signs that he wants to leave, but people get too hung up on this nonsense because things can change and often do over and over and over again. This is more about the philosophical question and exercise because I think a year, almost any other year, it's the last 2 or 3 people would say, yeah, get whatever you can for him now. This is too frustrating. He's always going to reflect frustration. And so let's just for whatever reason, it's not working out here, get a good price and move on from him. But he's realizing such potential this year and played, again, it's not like he hasn't missed any games.
Right.
But he hasn't missed enough where it's all that noticeable, right? Where you feel like, oh, God, here we go again. He's out for an extended period. And he's just playing too well to me. And when you do factor in the price, then you go, no. There's no obscene offer that's going to be coming. And you are back to what message are you conveying at this point? When you finally get some kind of a payoff for him, later than what everybody hoped, but you're finally getting that. And I know, again, the team is, still not much of a factor.
Right.
But I just don't think you can get anywhere near it at this point. And you go in with your eyes open that maybe he won't even next year play as many games as he seems to be on track to play this year. But now I think you got to play it out and say, no, now we have all the more reason to wait this thing out and see. Maybe he can have 3 straight years, relatively speaking, of this kind of productivity. That's not bad on any baseball team.
It's not often I've had FOMO for Target Field the last handful of years. I had FOMO on Saturday, though, when he hit for the cycle.
The cycle, yeah.
Mostly because I've been to a couple games, not where he's hit for the cycle, but where he's had like 3 different impactful plays, whether it's in the field or at the plate, catching, throwing, whatever it is, stealing a base.
Yes.
Like he does bring a different voltage.
There's no question.
To the ballpark. I can't even imagine. I'm sure Friday was awesome with Nelly, but I can't even imagine how that ballpark was on Saturday to be in there. And again, that's game 95 of a kind of lifeless baseball season right there. But what a moment that must have been to be there because he does just bring a different voltage.
There's no question. We talked yesterday about, it's individually, you want to think of it as a mythic Twins moment. I don't think you can on the same level, obviously, because the other ones we associate with mythic go back to winning World Series in 87 and 91. And that's the sad part about the condition of the club. And I know they're not out of it, Lavelle, we're aware. But that's the only thing that takes away from it. But in that moment, in that ballpark, it was very exciting. The Provost call in the home run was terrific. And I had not seen what had happened earlier in the game. I just saw, but I did happen to flip over and see that one live. And it's a shame that it can't feel more mythic. Like
exactly.
They're in first place or they're in that second wild card spot and they're 15 games above 500. It would feel bigger and feel weightier than it was, which was still a good, everyday moment.
Like, what was it? Puckett was like 6 for 6 in Milwaukee.
Yes,
or had that crazy weekend in Milwaukee in 87 or 91. Like, you still associate that with those teams. This will be just the Buck cycle, and it was great.
Gaardsy's got some audio related to our lick spittle analytics discussion. We'll explain next.
Head over to our contest page. Enter for your shot at a 4-pack of early screening passes to the newest Marvel film, The Fantastic Four, First Steps. It's in theaters July 23rd. KFAN.com, keyword contest to enter.
Spittle analytics is a term I think we should consider exploring here on this segment of the Bumper to Bumper program. And to explain precisely what we're examining here, Gaardsy's got a piece of sound. I think it goes about a minute and a half, does it not?
90 seconds, exactly.
And you may not be able to recognize every voice. You probably will be able to recognize some of the voices who have, over a period of the last several years, spoken up when it comes to the quote-unquote Epstein files and a, shall we say, lingering suspicion that not all is being told and a lot is being suppressed and something smells rotten in Denmark or something like that? Let's listen to exactly, I think you'll see the momentum build in this particular regard.
How is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
that's the current vice president.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go, ever. Ever.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
I guess the other subtitle to Lickspittle Analytics would be When MAGA Eats Its Own. Because there is something delicious about watching the MAGA folks now who have for many, many years led the charge. You heard a lot of the sound on what's going on here. Get the list out. We heard from Donald J. Trump's son, and I think that was the first soundbite at the convention. How this makes no sense. We know who we're protecting. We're protecting a bunch of big-name Democrats is what we're protecting. And now, all of a sudden, at the end of that sequence, you hear Donald J. Trump go, why are we still talking about this guy? You can't even make it up. People have been talking about this guy, Mr. President, because your folks, your lickspittles, have obsessed with this subject, have built it up. So isn't there something delicious about now the feeling being, there's really not that much there. We released it all. There's nothing else to see. There is no real list. The fact of the matter is, he did commit suicide, which I actually believe, by the way. But the point is, the idea that these same folks who perpetuated this story endlessly when it served their interests are now going, what's the big deal? Why are people obsessed with this thing?
Can we move on?
In fact, here's a quote from one of the lickspittles, Charlie Kirk. I'm done talking about Epstein. I'm going to trust my friends in the government. It's just, you can't make it up. I wonder why people might want to call Charlie on that and other folks on that as well. Even the Wall Street Journal editorial page got in on it today. Now Trump says, forget Jeffrey Epstein. He urges MAGA to give up a conspiracy tale that he and his allies promoted. Now, they weren't the only ones, by the way, but they certainly were front and center. And now they seem surprised that some people are surprised that it's going away. Now, if you're a lickspittle, then you're on board. Nothing to see here. Oh, that was then. There's a lot of things that were said back then, but clearly there's just not that much there. We got the right people in charge now, and if there was something there, they would let it out, right? The lickspittles have gotten the message from the president. Enough. Even though we're the ones who perpetuated this in the first place and made it as big a story as it has tended to be. We talked about this the other day with Gerald Posner, and I think it's fair to say it's curious to wonder about what still is being suppressed, given all of the oxygen that this story had been given forever and ever and ever. I did see a tweet. I don't remember who this was from. The people tweeting this kind of stuff are lying to you. These are the folks who still say there's a million things out there that there's stuff that is being suppressed, and there has been from the beginning. In some cases, potentially damaging to Republicans. In some cases, potentially damaging to beautiful people on the Democratic side. Whatever the case may be. This guy writes, there have been 24 court cases. Victims have testified. His financial records examined. Flight logs released. His black book released. Names named. We know everything. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I do think, and if you go back to, again, and I know we studied it, talked about it, and had even had a couple guests on it at the time, having to do with the question of whether he committed suicide, right, Epstein? And there is this little notion, reminded of again today, that there's a bunch of video has been released, but there's a minute missing.
A missing minute.
So there you go, the missing minute. This administration, I think it's Christie now saying, well, that's a glitch in the system. But the president has said, and I believe some of his minions, some of his lick spittles have said, no, I believe that he commits suicide. And I think that was always the most likely thing to have taken place as the story played out, even though there were legitimate questions about how he could even be in a position to do it, which I think is still a fair question. And the subject right now isn't necessarily whether there's not any more there to get and whether powerful forces are continuing to protect people. The story for me today, as I said, is the lick-spittle analytics thing, where the same folks who because they thought they had permission from MAGA to make this the biggest story possible and to milk it and to exploit it and to go after it, most of them are now going silent because he's the man. He says, enough, then it's got to be enough. And the fact that they're perplexed, like, well, why would anybody, be concerned with that? Or in the case of Trump and the people who are acting like, God, this thing goes on and on. Why are people still obsessed with this name? How they can be perplexed that there might have been an obsession built up when they built up the obsession more than any other constituency. Fair to say?
Yeah, I don't know if we did if we took attendance on that video, but we've got the current vice president, I think the director and deputy director of the FBI now, right? Patel and your guy Bongino. Well, what does he do?
Bongino. And Patel, I think, was also one of the sound bites in the montage that you played.
That's
earlier.
what I'm saying.
Yes,
the voices that we heard.
Yes.
And then obviously Bondi, who's attorney general.
Yeah. Well, Bongino is the one guy who's allegedly bitter because he's even talking about resigning apparently because he thinks
seen those reports.
There was stuff that they're not releasing. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It's just the about face is just precious.
And to dumb it down, we talked about this last week. When you build up a concert at U.S. Bank Stadium as the greatest show that Minnesota has ever seen, or one of them, you can't possibly be surprised. Now, you and I both think McCartney does fit that bill.
Yes, I do. I don't have a problem with it.
We said on the top of it, or at the jump, like, when you build it up like that and you tease it like that, you have to have some type of payoff at the end, or people are going to start going, that was it? We're doing McCartney, or it's
you're right.
Metallica?
You're right.
Or, well, what do you mean we're not going to, there's nothing in the files now?
There's no more there?
For 2 years, every speech was about this.
Oh, yeah, there was the coy little comments, and the little cracks, and the wink, and we know what they're up to. We know exactly what they're up to, and now it's gone. Oh, it's just too good. It's just...
People are going to notice.
It's remarkable. What would be delicious? What if Posner is now working on, which was last time he was on, what he couldn't away, is Epstein. Well, he hinted at it. Posner said to us that he has been led to believe, and has been unable to confirm yet, that there is I don't know if he said foreign government or someone in a foreign government that has access to a quote-unquote list.
Yeah.
And he has been working to try to confirm whether that's the case. But see, again, what does the list mean?
Exactly.
Because we've seen the list, or a form of the list, right, with some very prominent names who made the trip to one of the islands, right? Or his island.
Yep. Or we're on his plane.
Exactly.
Yep.
But that in itself, I think, has had limits to how far it can be used because it doesn't prove anything, right? It just doesn't.
Exactly.
So The main one that I think has sort of gotten caught in the middle of this was the royalty guy. I can't remember his name.
Prince Andrew.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where any of that stands. Is that still a case? I don't even know.
I thought I just saw that it kind of went away, but because he had the one victim straight up that said this is what he did, right? I mean, she's been interviewed a number of times where she has alleged all the things that you've heard are true, and he was the guy. And that was probably the most direct implication, where a person actually identified somebody and said, "This is what happened."
Let me see if there's anything if there's anything else interesting. This is from the Wall Street Journal editorial. Trump lamenting that his administration is taking heat over a guy who never dies. I think that was the sound we played at the end of the essay there. His advisors are suggesting this was a snipe hunt, but the MAGA base is in furious disbelief since the same people pledged to catch some snipe. Asked on a podcast in 2024 about Epstein's list of clients, Mr. Trump said he'd have no problem releasing it. Pam Bondi said in Feb that it's sitting on my desk. I think we played that one too.
Yep.
Kash Patel's been on this beat too. Was this one of the sound bites? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
I didn't hear that part.
I don't think, but that was apparently a quote from him 2 years ago. When there's, like I said, there's nothing more delicious than when MAGA eats its own here, and they get caught. They stub their toe on their own approach, coming back in this case to bite them hard in the buttocks, extremely hard in the buttocks. So I will be curious to see if there's any other reporting that is indeed done. Bondi and Patel's review revealed no incriminating client list. That was from the Justice Department and FBI last week. At a cabinet meeting Tuesday, the AG insisted that in February she only meant the Epstein case files were on her desk. Of course she did. Alleged video, she said, turned out to be child porn downloaded by Epstein. Mr. Patel agrees. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it? Well, what it, again, suggests is when it served your purpose to work up the masses, fair game. Even though you had nothing more than apparently you have now, which doesn't seem to be much if you want to believe them or take them at face value at this point. But it served the purpose. And it's part of what leaves us in the pathetic position we're in on story after story after story. They finished the editorial with maybe podcast provocateurs. I think it's fun to spin joking, not joking yarns about Taylor Swift rigging the Super Bowl to help President Biden. Was that a theory? What does that even mean?
I don't know. What?
Taylor Swift rigging the Super Bowl to help President Biden?
So what was the outcome that President Biden needed for the Super Bowl?
Well, who won the Super Bowl?
This most recent one?
Yeah.
The Eagles.
And isn't Swift Kansas City?
Well, I think she grew up an Eagles fan, but she's with Kelsey.
Yeah, I don't even know what this means.
So what outcome would it be Philadelphia because he needed Pennsylvania, which he didn't get?
I have no idea. By the way, they write, Mr. Trump now says, the Epstein Fuhrer cannot distract Ms. Bondi from the real conspiracy. Do you know what that is? The real one this time.
What's the real one? I was kidding
before, now it's real. 2020 election was rigged, was stolen.
I did see this,
and they tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she is looking into.
We're still on
AG that. And much more. So that's always, I guess, that's the master move, right? Whenever you're utterly, and I think that's when you know desperation is set in. You can always go back with the reliable standby, the old standby of, let's change the subject back to the election being stolen back in 2020. Thought we were done with it. People get mad at us for ever bringing it up. We bring it up far less often than the President of the United States, man. Don't blame us. Blame him for bringing the whole damn thing up again.
Do you want to spend a few minutes? Because now I'm sure the inbox is mad at you.
Yeah,
do you want to throw him a curveball?
How so?
Well, I just sent you a DM to your Twitter. I just saw a Tom Hauser tweet. Regarding...
Trouble?
No, not trouble, but I think this is worth getting into because we spent some time on it. We kind of itemized details on if you're wondering how Governor Walz could spend $430,000 of our money to get ready for the congressional hearings a few weeks ago. Apparently, they've looked into the invoices and they've got some detail.
There is some
It's
detail.
up to you.
No,
if you want to spend 5-6 minutes on it.
Somebody has pointed out, and this may be true. I don't think this is relevant to my original position on this thing. That there were a number of other folks who testified who actually their people spent more money to prepare them as well. So we're supposed to feel better.
We were frugal
about the fact that we were frugal at $430,000 for that congressional hearing. Ranges Hauser writes from $70 to review a letter inviting him to the hearing to $2,880.
Hold on. Can you stop?
Yeah.
$70 to review a letter inviting him to the hearing?
I guess they're well, what the governor has said is the real reason we had to do what we did is they're trying to get us to perjure ourselves. So this is all to protect ourselves from traps that they're going to set. Okay, and we're happy for you, but that's still not enough for me. Regardless of whether you're talking about Republicans or Democrats, I still think this is it's an embarrassing. You want to call it an indictment of the system? Fine. However you want to put it, it's beyond embarrassing.
So reviewing the
$70 to review a letter, to $2,880 for searches for news or statistics for crimes committed by transgender or non-binary persons. And by the way, it did veer off into those issues. And that circle back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show, because there's not all that much interest in actually gathering information, or even holding people's feet to the fire. It's really more about performing. And that's why we probably would be better off if there were no cameras and C-SPAN was not covering this stuff. Let me see if there's, I'm just sort of scrolling down. There's some savagery from Niska on the Republican side last week. Is there a place where it's itemized in more detail that I'm missing? Let me see.
No, there was that one paragraph.
Yeah, there's that one. Yeah, it's not.
You read most of them.
Yeah, I thought there might be more specificity, but here's what's weird to me. If the range is from $70 to $2,880, I still don't understand how that gets you to almost $500,000. I mean, that must mean there was an endless array of documents.
Yeah,
apparently
and billable hours.
And billable hours to go through. You're 100% right about that. Niska, who is an attorney, says he is a Representative Harry Niska, Republican Minnesota House floor leader. The work that was done should have been conducted by in-house counsel in the governor's office, along with the Minnesota Attorney General's office. Governor Walz spent 12 years in Congress. The Attorney General, Keith Ellison of our state, spent 12 years in Congress. They know what hearings look like and sound like. They don't need to hire Washington, D.C. lawyers at over $700 per hour to research that for them. Well, and like I said, the cover that the governor is going to use is where they're trying to get us to go to prison. They're trying to get us to perjure ourselves, so we'll be in trouble, and therefore we're off the hook. And so it's the big bad Republicans. And I'm not here to defend the big bad Republicans. I am here to say this is an embarrassment if this is the way the system is set up. That it made no sense at the front end. It still makes no sense to me at $500,000, and especially when, as I said, let's be honest. I mean, the approach by really both the people asking questions and the people answering questions was also was performance. It was. We'll make snarky comments in response. We'll say yes to something very condescendingly that I don't agree with, but I'm going to say it to just get you off my back, whatever the case may be. So that's where we are. Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line is open, and yeah, lots of interesting feedback that we've been getting for quite some time. 64686. I have a couple of other items that I want to try to mix into the conversation before we wrap things up at 6:30. Figure out whether I'm remembering a voice inside the Metrodome for Twins baseball games, or a voice from my childhood sitting in the grandstand at Wrigley Field. And it was one of the beer vendors. And, some of them are more gregarious than others.
Yep.
And the one I remember, I'm pretty sure it was actually the Dome. He would just bellow out, beer, and then just walk a little while.
Yes.
Beer.
That was a Dome guy.
Is that a Dome guy?
I think I remember him too, yeah. I don't know if he was famous, but I remember the voice.
I think I bring it up because beer remains undefeated when it comes to making money or saving the day in the world of sports. Latest example has to do with March Madness. And the assumption is that it's inevitable that March Madness will expand to as many as 76 teams as soon as this upcoming spring. And according to one media report, this is Wall Street Journal, the key to getting it done hinges on one single factor: booze.
B-double-E-double-R-U-N, beer run.
So the way it's written here, to make ends meet financially, the NC2A needs to find significant amounts of money from selling official NC2A sponsorships in categories it has previously shunned.
Yeah.
Those categories: beer, wine, and hard alcohol. The twist, they write, is that the NCAA can't sell those sponsorships itself. Instead, it has to persuade tournament broadcasters, CBS and Turner, to do so, and then increase their own annual payment to the NCAA. They'll say, we get the money, you just got to do it. You got to get your hands dirty, because we're above that.
We can't.
We're way too altruistic for that, but we will take more money from, why would we have to apologize for taking more money? If CBS and Turner decide they want to pay us more money, it's not our fault. They can't be, no one can be mad at us at that, even though they're admitting, apparently, according to this story, that the only way CBS and Turner would be willing to give more money is if they include the beer community, wine community, hard alcohol community, so they can get the money that way. I had no idea this was in the car. I guess I didn't even know that I realized that the NCAA could not sell those sponsorships.
But I think only because of their own rules.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's what's...
Is it if this story is accurate, can you even continue the pretense and the farce of it if it's laid out accurately?
Yes, that's why it's classic NCAA, in that you're overcomplicating something just on your own that doesn't need to be all that complicated. It's the essence of the NCAA, quite frankly. It's amazing that all this stuff just kind of went along as long as it did.
You're correct.
And we all just went along with it, right?
We did.
All these things, because that makes no sense. Just decide...
Yeah.
Have a meeting and say, we are going to allow beer sponsorships.
And we'll take the heat.
Like every other, schools had to do, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's a relatively new thing that schools have been selling beer. Colleges. We just joked about it earlier in the show about Minnesota. I mean, they were one of the first.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think there's still some of the Big Ten. I think Camp Randall just announced. Wisconsin just announced within the last year or two that they were going to sell beer to everybody.
I just assumed they've been doing that since 1950.
That's the crazy assumption, but not everybody does it still yet.
The NCAA landed in this bizarre position because the men's basketball tournament is tied up in a TV contract through 2032. The deal is so great for the broadcasters, CBS and Turner, they've got little reason to touch it. As the price of rights to coveted sporting events skyrockets, the broadcasters have America's most loved tournament locked up.
Yes.
For 7 more years in exchange for relatively fixed annual payments. The contract doesn't require the broadcasters to pay for more teams. NCAA President Charlie Baker confirmed. So the NCAA is trying to leverage another part of the deal. As part of its 2010 broadcast rights contract, the NCAA handed control of its sponsorship program to CBS and Turner. That means if a bank or insurance company wants to become an official NCAA sponsor of any championship the NCAA operates. It doesn't pay the NCAA. It pays the broadcasters of the NCAA basketball tournament. So they're saying those rights holders, CBS and Turner, keep their sponsorship revenue, which they use to offset their roughly $1 billion annual payment to the NCAA for the men's basketball tournament. They mentioned that this is a very different setup from the way it works in most major sports. NFL and NBA sell broadcast rights and sponsorships separately as well. So basically they're saying opening new categories of sponsorship, including beer, is what allows them to say, go back to the networks and say, well, you got to give us, that this is the way you can give us more money, right? If we, especially if we add as many, what do we say, up to maybe 76 teams?
Yeah, so that would be eight teams.
I guess, I once upon a time I used to be bugged by that number going up. Anymore, it's like, why even bother? There's no, it makes no sense, but you're just going to keep doing it, I guess, because that's the way it works in every sport.
Yes.
Right?
It seems like it. Yeah.
And in hockey, it even means expanding the season. Now, again, you're expanding the season and you're taking away from the preseason, right? I think you're short
for the NHL. You're talking about
NHL.
I believe so.
Which I think is the trade-off on that. So, this is, so booze is the key to this thing. And because apparently there's no other way for them to make the dough, to add to the coffers the way they'd like to.
Right.
Everybody wants to add to the coffers, right?
But honestly, that's why, this is kind of what we talked about. There were things that you couldn't do years ago, like sell beer at stadiums, the sports gambling thing, right? We were all very puritanical about all of it until everybody realized, well, we're leaving a lot of money on the table. We're still talking about like with Sunday liquor sales here. We're still talking about it with sports gambling. All this money that everybody is high and mighty about it until you do go, yeah, but we can't make this money anywhere else. And we have to make more money. Yes, we always have to make more money. Everybody does. So we got to
make them get in bed with the beer and hard liquor companies. Well, it's not we have anything to do with it. But with the other hand, our hand will be out for that extra dough that's associated with it that allows the networks then to extend, pay more money to us.
If you were
fascinating,
not an usher, if you were a concessions,
it's an art, man. It's an art.
What would you want to sell? I got two questions. What would you want to sell?
Nuts. Simply because it's easy to throw a bag of peanuts.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you could have fun with it, do the old over the shoulder toss. You could
be Shecky Green.
You could be Shecky Green. I mean, the truth is, there is an art to being effective at that. I always just felt bad for, like, if you're carrying around, I can remember like hot dog vendor guy in Wrigley Field days, and it's on his back. It's like a big tray, a huge metal tray on his back, strapped around his back, that he's carrying around this huge monstrosity up and down the grandstand seats at Wrigley Field. But I would say peanuts because it's just so easy and you can have so much fun with it.
Do you remember, I think I'm remembering this right, but like the Dome Dog vendor, if I remember right, they had they would keep them warm and separate, and then he would get on his knee, grab the dog from the water or whatever, and then make it for you right there. That seems inefficient and also really difficult.
Well, once upon a time, I want to say they even if you wanted ketchup, they would put the ketchup on. Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah.
In terms of doing it from the seats.
Right, yes.
Yeah, I haven't been for a while.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it now. I don't know if does any of that exist anymore?
Yes, it does. I think it does.
There's still folks who go around as opposed to we got an app and they'll deliver food to you, but it's not a vendor of beer here, hot dogs there, whatever.
I always respect the guys that just park it on the concourse, like the drinks, and just go, I'm here if you want me.
Yeah.
During an intermission or whatever, like at the X. I don't go to a lot of Twins games, as you know, but like Wolves and Wild, I go to a lot. There's always people that are just parked out there. I don't know so much for the food as much as the drink. So what would your peanut call be if you were selling nuts like you want to? If we were to call, I guess now Twins president Derek Falvey, because we could say Peter could probably still help us.
It's actually Derek Fulvey, according to New York Post, but that's another story.
We could say, we want to do a day at the ballpark where Barrero is a concessions guy. What would your peanut call be? You want to think about it?
Peanuts!
Would you sell Cracker Jacks too? Because a lot of times those came together.
Yeah, you probably would because not everybody likes peanuts.
Right, or they have an allergy.
I would like to sell pistachios, but I don't know if they do that. I don't think that's not considered a baseball deal. Now, things have changed. It's a lot more...
A lot of fancy things
a lot broader than it used to be, for sure. But the ones, they were entertaining. I mean, obviously, Wally the Beer Man, there's some... Legendary... They really did become, at least then, part of the culture, and the ones who were good at it, I marveled at because I don't think I could possibly have the patience or sense of humor to turn it into anything else. It'd be like, it's just drudgery. But the ones who did it, they actually made it fun.
Absolutely.
They became part of the ambiance of what was going on in the ballpark.
You're right about throwing the peanuts. The guys that would just, they're like J.J. McCarthy out there, just spinning it.
Yeah.
Just hitting you right in the numbers.
And in those days, you didn't have to worry. If you accidentally hit somebody in the face, you weren't going to face a lawsuit.
No, everybody was in on it.
Then
it was
everybody's
great.
like, oh, sorry about that, man. Didn't mean to, put a mark in your nose.
You got to pass the cash down the line.
That's true,
Then everybody would do the bit. Oh, I'm keeping it for myself. I mean, it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun at the ballpark.
Those days, long gone, I'm afraid. Maybe not.
Man.
Show Wrap is presented by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Larry Mondello guy is back. Peanuts are not the only thing you can throw. You can throw hot dogs, too. Kessler throws hot dogs all of the time. Not professionally, just for entertainment.
It's all about the wiener.
Well, we'll ask him about that perhaps as soon as Wednesday. Aaron Gleeman will also be an in-studio guest on Wednesday's program. Way to go, Dan. You just gave the Power Trip soundboard material peanuts. That's why I tried really hard to enunciate the word. I mean, that was in the back of my mind.
It always has to be.
But it may not matter. I mean, they can doctor stuff. I know, AI. There's all kinds of ways they can be messed with. So that's okay, too. I want to thank Johnny Athletic, who joined us between 4 and 4:30. Good wide-ranging conversation about his trip to Vegas for the Summer League, some other Wolves stuff, some ownership stuff, some media pecking order stuff as well. So you can podcast that later if you would like. A lot of talk early about my desire, being the rank sentimentalist I am, to the smoke-filled room days, as opposed to everybody playing for the cameras everywhere when it comes to our politicians. Not exactly new information, but nevertheless worthy of occasionally going down that particular road. I think perhaps now, in fact, more than ever, maybe we need a few more smoke-filled rooms to come back to. In addition, what else did we... we I think did some lick-spittle analytics as it pertains to the marvelous 180 done by Magaland when it comes to the Epstein files and the Epstein story, what they milked forever and what they are now running from as if, well, what happened? I don't know what you're talking about. Looks like Buck's in the batter's box right now, taking some practice swings.
BP for the Derby?
I don't think this is the actual Derby yet.
You also
he looks
talked
happy,
about...
though, man. He looks loose.
Why wouldn't he be?
He looks happy. And so far has not pulled a muscle that I can tell.
You did talk about, you asked the question, should the Twins be shopping?
Yes,
or
correct.
considering offers for Byron Buxton?
No trade clause, we know. We're aware of that. We did get into that subject. So it was wide-ranging. We had news on the march as well. I think we may be wide open tomorrow. If we decide, we'll talk about it, maybe giving Louis the week off and maybe go in a couple of other directions this week.
We could do the inbox tomorrow. I was thinking about it because I'm going to be out Thursday.
Gone. You're right.
So why don't we move the inbox to tomorrow?
That's a good suggestion. Maybe that's what we do. Fan on Demand tonight. And then it's the rematch.
Yes, sir.
Lynx Sky, a national TV game Saturday in Chicago. Now they're back in action tonight also in Chicago. And I don't remember, do they play? I don't think they play United Center.
They do not, I believe.
Do they play the Horizon, Rosemont, what used to be called the Rosemont Horizon?
They play at Wintrust Arena, which is the new DePaul Arena, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's part of McCormick Square.
Oh,
basically.
okay. All right,
it's right
enough.
down there.
Yeah. So when we did have a conversation about that and about Angel Reese and her development and, revisiting again the decision to pass on her. And unfortunately for us, a number of several racists decided to text in their own view and were pretty much quickly revealed in that regard. And I think we still do own the best record. How much have the Liberty faded completely? I haven't even checked the standings.
I'm going to pull them up
I
right
wonder
now.
if we're still dominant in terms of best record.
We're 18-4. We're 2 games ahead of Phoenix and
Phoenix. Okay,
and the Liberty.
Okay, so Phoenix
They're both
is
14-6.
coming. Okay,
so we're 3 games up on both of them.
Where's Clark? Where's the Fever?
Just above 500, 11-10.
So they'll make it. It doesn't look like right now, unless they get moving a little bit. They're not going to get a very high seed. Correct?
Yeah, they should be fine, given that she's missed a bunch of times.
She has, yeah.
And so if she's healthy, you got to figure like they're going to be
Who's
okay.
she? Caitlin Clark. Any luck on the Brennan?
No,
nothing yet, huh?
Now, part of me wonders, she is heavy right now in book touring.
That's true.
Like, she's in Iowa, I think, right now, doing 4 nights.
She's in Bloomington. She's in my alma mater. She's in Bloomington during this Midwestern tour, but I don't think, unfortunately, Minnesota's on the tour.
No, I looked.
Yeah.
Because it should be, mostly because maybe she can take in a couple of Lynx games and talk to Cheryl Reeve, which I know she's been trying to do for a year and a half about Caitlin Clark, but it hasn't worked out.
Very, very true. Who needs a smoke-filled room when you have the vulnerability of running on a treadmill next to a sweaty Chuck Schumer? Flim Flam text, which is a pretty good line, actually. That's not bad at all. And I had one more I was going to get to. Oh, now they have that annoying camera on a wire along the left field line that runs up and down the foul line that gets in the way of our view. I guess it's an MLB thing.
Oh, really?
Is he? Well, that doesn't surprise me, I guess, because there's cameras pretty much everywhere now. Does it actually get in the view? That would be annoying.
If you're sitting there,
that's the
it
case.
must.
Yeah, I don't know. Can never have too many cameras. Will you watch any of the Home Run Derby tonight?
Probably not.
I don't think I mean, I might switch around a little bit.
I
if
might.
I have a chance. It's just out of curiosity.
It's
to
not
see
in my plans at the moment.
how Buxton is able to do.
I really want a Dome Dog now, though. Then we were talking
kind of
about
hungry
it.
for a Dome Dog?
Dome Dog and a malt cup. Like, malt cups were always great,
Well, I think
too.
you can get Dome Dogs at grocery stores everywhere.
Probably, and malt cups you usually can
you
find
probably
them, too.
could do that. Yeah, the old malt. Yeah, that
the
was
wooden stick.
Yeah,
God,
those are the
good.
days. Those were
what a time.
Days gone by. Yeah, there's no question.
Simpler
about
times
that.
is what we say.
Very, very true. So, and then we'll see what else we can add to the conversation. The game itself, the All-Star game itself, is tomorrow, and we had a chance to hit 500 if we'd have swept Pittsburgh yesterday. Couldn't get it done, as you said. So we end up still, to me, not a very exciting 2 games under. Again, I think we're 4 games out of the last wild card spot. I don't know how many other teams are involved. I'm not real optimistic in that regard, but I read the statistical quirk that if the Twins had won yesterday, it would have been the first time in their history that they finished at exactly 500.
Is that right?
At the All-Star break, yes. They've never done it. Twins have never finished right at 500. I'm guessing more under than over.
Something to shoot for next year.
There's going to be something yeah. With our new owner about to be announced. And somebody did text us, hey, did you hear the news about Tampa Bay? Yes, we talked about it earlier.
About it.
They've got a new ownership deal apparently in place that's going to be announced as soon, or official as soon as September. So we got some ownership envy right now. It's like, what about us? When is it going to be more than? There's a couple of interesting names, and Major League Baseball is going to help us pay off that $400 million debt part that's making it kind of problematic and all that stuff. I'll believe it. I'll tend to believe it when I indeed see it. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for listening today. And as I mentioned, Fan on Demand follows us, and then WNBA Lynx basketball right here on the Fan.
A lot of things that are easily correctable.
I'll be there whenever you want me. I'll be there whenever you need me. I'll be there. I'll be around.
This episode is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal offers a home buyer's choice loan that can open the door to affordable home ownership. Because the home buyer's choice loan has no down payment options available, which means you don't have to wait years to save. Plus, you may be able to lower your rate in the future without refinancing with their no refi rate drop. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Loans subject to approval and eligibility requirements. Learn more at NavyFederal.org.
Wasabi Technologies is purpose-built to free businesses from skyrocketing storage costs and unpredictable egress fees from those old and top-heavy legacy providers. You know, the big guys. Wasabi is the go-to provider for professional and collegiate sports teams around the world. From Wasabi's AI-enabled intelligent media storage, Wasabi Air, to the industry's only cloud storage service with triple protection against cyber criminals, Wasabi is driving innovation in data storage, all for up to 80% less than those other guys. Try them out for free at wasabi.com.